everybody, it's Belinda from My Style Journey. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk about some of the items in my closet that I am getting rid of. I'm going to do this in sections or categories because there's quite a few items, and I think I've been a little bit brutal here because I really want to take only what I actually wear when I move. So most of you who have been following me for a while know that I'm moving to a cooler climate, and there's a lot of things that I keep in my closet because I wear them maybe once a year, and I don't think that that is how I want to go into the future. I want to have a smaller closet, possibly, but with items that I really love and that I really wear often. I do think that once you know your style, once you really know what it is that you love, and you know what it is that looks good on you, and you know what it is that accentuates your body type or that just makes you feel fabulous, then you make less mistakes where fashion is concerned. Now, a lot of these pieces that I am getting rid of essentially are thrifted pieces. So I have made a little connection in my brain that I need to be very careful when I'm thrifting. I need to check sizes, and if people don't write down the sizes, I need to ask, because a 32 from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, a real vintage piece, is not necessarily the same measurements as a 32 today. So I have learned quite a bit on my thrifting journey. I do not want to stop thrifting. In fact, I did a thrifting video last week. So the first item I want to talk about is this gorgeous cable knits sweater. It really is a beautiful knit. The one thing about this knit is, number one, it's not made from natural fibers, which is not a huge big deal for me because I do live in South Africa and it isn't that cold in the winter, especially not where I live currently, but where I'm going to need a little bit more, I would say, natural fibers for the warmth in the winter, because in the Drakensberg you definitely need a proper winter closet, which I currently don't have. The second thing is that it's very tight under my arm. So although I can wear this alone in my current situation, I would need to layer this up with something underneath where I'm moving to, and I'm not going to be able to do that comfortably with this piece. So this has definitely got to go. If I find any photographs of me wearing the pieces that I'm getting rid of, I'm going to pop them over here so that you can have a look and see how they look on me. That might also give you an indication, maybe in certain instances, of why I don't want them in my wardrobe anymore. So this was a piece that I thrifted very recently. Now, I love this. I love everything about it. It's a very thin knit, so it's great for layering. I think it would look beautiful with that gold knit that I had last week in the thrifted video that I shared with you. I think it would look gorgeous with that sort of polar neck underneath, because that's a very thin piece. This is quite oversized and large, but I think you can see on me that it's almost like a sweater dress, but it's not really that kind of vibe. So what I'm going to try and do with this, which is something that I've never done with knitwear before, is I'm going to try and chop it off and hem it and see if I don't possibly get more wear out of it that way. It also has a very deep V. It's definitely only a layering piece. I could never wear this on its own unless I wore a big chunky scarf in the front. But I love the colors. As you can see, this piece is a thrifted silk shirt from this past year as well. So these are definitely my colors. I'm going to miss this if I'm not able to alter it, because I do really like it in my closet. If I manage to alter it and it's successful, I will show you that in future videos. So this was a piece that I'm on the fence about giving away or selling. I love the style. It is just, however, that little bit too big for me. I have quite a small frame, and I just feel that it doesn't flatter me in the way that it should. It feels too big, and I think that this specific style shouldn't be oversized. It shouldn't be that big style. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to let this go. It's so beautiful. It has these buttons on the side, and I love it. I really do love it. I think if I've got a photograph, I'll put it up here. You'll be able to see that it really is too big for me. The final piece in the winter wardrobe category is this blazer. Now this is absolutely beautiful. It's this rusty gold color. It's velvet. It is just beautiful. It's in such excellent condition for a vintage piece. It really is vintage. You can see by the labels that it's a proper vintage piece. Now when Matilda and I did Bell Whimsy together, which was our secondhand store, we used to have a market when we could still do those kinds of things, and we would sell, we had a stall at a market, we didn't own the market. This came as a set. It had a pair of trousers with it, and somebody loved the trousers and she bought the trousers. They fitted her. This didn't fit her, and neither did she want it. So we kept it in the store for quite a while, and then I decided that I'm going to take it, because I do love these tones and I love the texture of it. I'm going to add it to my wardrobe. Now you'll see from these cutaways that I have styled this once or twice, but I never wore it this winter, and it is true that things will change next year for me in winter, but I do think that this will be too formal. I'm going to have a more casual wardrobe. And another thing about this is that it's perfect when I've just got a t-shirt underneath or a thin shirt underneath, but as soon as I put a knit on underneath it, then this is too tight. It never closes in the front, which is okay because I don't think all blazers do, and it's fine if you can wear it open, but it just feels too tight. You know, when you do this kind of test, it feels too tight over my shoulders, and I tend to be uncomfortable when I wear it. I never feel 100% comfortable, so that's why it's going in the selling pile. So the next category is dresses. I love the idea of dresses, but I never seem to really wear them. And I have figured out that the style of dress that I like is a midi or a maxi dress. That just works for me. So the first one is this one by Woolworths. It's a Studio W dress. It is absolutely beautiful. I think I've worn it about five or six times. It is very cool in the summer. I'm not 100% sure of the fabrication. It's made of 95% rayon and 5% spandex. So it is a stunning dress. It is almost brand new. It has these gorgeous pockets over here. You can just see by the flow of the dress that it's really lovely, but it just sits in a place on me that is most unflattering. So I have decided to let this go. This is another dress that I've worn quite a bit. I've never styled it for my style journey, never styled it for my Instagram. I don't know why, but you will see that it has this cold shoulder sleeve. It is 100% viscose. It is a pretty print, but there's just something about this dress that every time I reach for it, number one, it sits on the same part of my legs as this dress does, and number two, it just is so shapeless that I tend to want to belt it, and then obviously when you belt it, it looks even shorter. So that is the reason that I'm giving this dress away, or that I am selling this dress. I do think that these are beautiful dresses, but if I'm not going to wear them, if they're just going to sit in my closet and they're going to gather dust, then they are worth nothing to anyone. So on to tops. This was something that I thrifted honestly about a month ago, and when I bought it, I didn't buy it online, so there was no excuse for getting the size wrong. I did go into a store and buy it, but I am not one to enjoy the fitting rooms, although I always say please use the fitting rooms because you need to know what things look like before you take them out of the store. You just need to. It's just that important. This was by no means a cheap piece, even though it doesn't look like much. It is very pretty. It has this lace overlay with this fully lined piece underneath, and it's just too tight. Every time I put it on, I've got to put it on before I put makeup on, otherwise I get makeup all over the front because it just is too tight to pull over my head. And then when I take it off, I've got to make sure that the makeup is off before I take it off. It is absolutely beautiful, but it's just that too tight around my shoulders and the back of me. So this is going in the giveaway or selling pile. This item I have worn so many times. You will see from the pictures that I share with you that I've honestly gotten so much wear out of this. I bought it at Woolies, and I think I must have bought this about 6 years ago. It is beautiful. It's a shell top. You wear it over your jeans or over your trousers or over a pair of shorts or a skirt. I've done all of those. And it's a broderie anglaise that is fully lined. It is a beautiful, beautiful piece. It is just not the color that I wear anymore. I thought that these peachy pinks were my color, but the more I wear them, the more washed out I feel, and I've become very aware of what works with my coloring and what really doesn't. And this doesn't work. It does make me look soft, it does make me look feminine in a photograph, but in reality I think that it's not really my color. But I must say, cost per wear, I think I've paid R5 for this top because I wore it so much. This is another item that I bought during lockdown. It is a beautiful piece. It is lovely. It's just another one that has this huge open neck, so it comes to about here on me, which just doesn't work. And obviously you have to wear a cami underneath because it is 100% sheer, but it just isn't working for me. I've tried to style it a few times. When I do wear a cami or a bralette underneath it, I still just feel too exposed. This is one of those epic fails when thrifting. This is as good as I'm getting. I'm still making big mistakes, and this was one of them. I think I bought this top from the same lady that I bought the white shirt from. Now there is nothing wrong with her store. Krista from Sewn Great, I think I have been one of her best customers through the 2 years of knowing her, and I do think that I've bought most of my pre-loved garments from her. This in essence should have worked, and I don't know what it is about it that just doesn't work. I love the sleeves. I've always liked this peasant style kind of blouse, but I think if you see at the bottom here, it has this ruched in waist. This piece is just too short, because even though I'm very short, when I pull it up, it just looks like there's not enough fabric hanging out. And I don't know if I've got a photograph of me wearing it that I can actually show you, but I have styled this before in a previous video. If I find that video, I will link it below. And it's just one of those pieces that I haven't reached for because of that, because it already has the elastic in. I think if it didn't have the elastic in and I could just tuck the fabric in, I think it would work much better. Another piece that I ummed and ahed about is this beautiful homemade piece. It's made of lace, and there's contrasting lace on the sleeves, and then it has these gorgeous pearl buttons down the back, all the way down the back. It is really a beautiful piece, and you can see that it goes with the coloring. It's something that I do wear. I honestly love this, but I don't think it works with my new lifestyle. And as I said, I'm going to be very honest, very brutal. It's just not going to work for me. I want to wear something less feminine. I do like some feminine pieces, but I tend to go more for a classic style. So this is going to be rehomed. I do realize that I never ended the video, so I just wanted to say that all of these pieces, although they're very loved, I have to let go of them. My motto is that I'm not going to have stuff in my closet that I do not really reach for and that I do not wear. And unfortunately, these pieces are those pieces that tend to just take up space in my closet, and that is not what I'm about anymore. I don't want to keep pieces unless they're occasion wear pieces. I'm not about keeping items in my closet that are not going to serve me, serve my lifestyle, serve my style any longer. I was editing this video and I realized there was no end to it, so I'm just quickly saying all of this in order to say to you that these pieces are not pieces that I'm sorry that I brought into my closet. I'm learning all the time, especially with thrifting, to be very, very careful about what it is that I bring in. There are certain items that I just know that I shouldn't thrift, and this is a learning curve, and I'm open to learning constantly about what works for me, what works for my body, what works for my style, and what works for my life. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I would love if you hit the subscribe button, gave me a like, shared this with a friend, and I hope to see you next time.